first video of arches. This is really cool. I took me a lot of attempts to get here, but I'm really excited that I actually made this, and I wanted to share, well, of course share it, but I wanted to explain the principles behind how I made it. So let me show you that. Alright, so I have my mini demo set up. So this is the journey of how I built this arch. Very not related to what I'm doing, but this kind of reminds me of my first video. Whatever, never mind. But when I built the arch, the first thing I thought of doing was making my normal standard unit block thing, but just stacked on each other, but kind of offset. I have two of them, right? So they would eventually come together and form an arch. And that didn't work because when you have two towers leaning on each other, it's basically being pushed on this way, right? And if it's being pushed on that way, then it's very weak. So that did not very work. That did not work very well. It took me a couple tries to realize that. The next thing I tried doing was making arches out of this pattern where I have them offset by 90 degrees going upwards, right? And this worked better, but it still had a flaw, because if you have it like this, you can't really knock it over this way. That's not going to work. But if you have it like this, it's really easy to knock over that way. So when you have a tower leaning this way, then that's not really going to work. So that didn't work for me. And it took me, what I did is I had the same tower design, but I added three planks on each side, and that strengthened it in the direction of pushing this way, so it wouldn't tip over, right? So what ended up happening is that it's still pretty weak. I mean, it's stronger and was able to hold up to the things I wanted. So instead of it failing by completely falling apart, it's just sliding because of the friction, right? Because I push here, right? It only breaks because I slide it. I basically slide the blocks out of where it can reach. And that was how I came to building with this design. Going back up here, you can see I just copied what I did earlier to the main arch. So yeah, there's a lot of forces going on here because the middle of the arch, I mean, on the inside of the arch is compression, and the outside of the arch is tension, right? So that means that these outside blocks are actually really weak. I can do that, right? Because the outside is in tension, and the middle's in tension. And this also applies to the top, because if you kind of look at it, it's kind of two beams and then one beam on top, right? So the bottom part is in tension and the top is in compression, and that's why I had these three little beams here. Because one, it just connects the back with the front, so it's more stable. And if I have something physically there, that means it's literally pushing the towers apart, which is what you need when the arch and everything's leaning together. You want something to counteract that. So that's why I added those things. If you're still kind of confused, I also have videos on bridges, so I can link that in the description. But that's a fun video you can watch if you want to watch more or you're confused. I also wanted to mention how I built this tower in the first place. So let me show you a close-up with how I built it. Alright, so here is the close-up of how I even built the tower in the first place. What I did is I used this weird scissor lift thing, right? Mini scissor lift. And what I did is that this can go up and down, right? So what I did is that I adjusted it to the length to be just barely below one domino plank, and because the length of this is 5 of these, right, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that perfectly fits right there. And then 5 more is the length to this beam right here, so if I put it here, it's just barely below that, and then I can put it up like that, and then now the whole tower moves a bit. You can see that in action, and that's kind of cool. Going back to the center. Going back, you can see the whole thing shake. Wait, let me adjust it up for you guys. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Ah! Oh my gosh, this camera angle. Ah! Oh, whatever. So you see the whole thing move, so that's kind of cool. One thing I would like to say is that because there's no tape or glue, there's just nothing holding us together besides gravity and friction, I guess. What happens is that if I have this right here, you can think of it as the line as I was building it, you want more weight on this side than that side, right? Because every time it sticks out, then this is the new balancing beam, and then that becomes like, let me back up. My thoughts are kind of scrambling. Basically, when I had this attached, this became the new focal point line, right? And then everything on this side and this side needs to be balanced, right? Because when it's here, if there's more weight on this side, then of course it's going to fall over. So you do that until it's high enough, until more weight's on this side, and then when you have it, you can put the main cap on it, right, which is really heavy, but combines it at the same time. And that's, I'm sorry, you the whole time. Alright, I am ready for the demolishing of this. So the first thing I'm going to put on this is a box of rocks. It weighs about like 1 pound, so just as like a, oh, okay, it's fine. So the next thing I have is a 5-pound weight, so we're going to see if it can hold that. I have not tested this, so I genuinely do not know if this is going to work. Okay, that was 5 pounds. Wow, okay. Let me put on 5 more. Okay. And the box of rocks. Oh, cool. So that's 11 pounds. Let me try that. One thing I noticed is that it's actually getting more stable, the weight I put on it. Because the more weight it has, the more friction. So that's kind of cool. I could put on more weights on it, but I think I've proven my point. So yeah. I don't know how to demolish this now. I can't bring myself to do it. Okay, I guess we'll do it. Which one should I take out? I don't know. Ah! Let me take out the sides. Oh. Oh my gosh, I like opened it up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh! Oh my god. Oh my gosh. You can see the whole thing leaning. Oh, whoa. That was, a lot. That was fun. Hope you enjoyed watching.